and pickup fees for Uber and Lyft. Good evening, everybody. You're watching LA Live News Tonight. I'm Marla Tejas.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Christine Devine. Today, the Board of Airport Commissioners approved new fees for Uber and Lyft rides.
They apply to taxis and limousines as well. So what's behind this price hike? Let's go to Fox 11's Ed Lascos at LAX with more. Ed?
Marla, it's really all about controlling the traffic congestion, easing that congestion as it moves around the horseshoe, the upper level, the lower level of LAX and all the terminals. And we're talking about new fee increases here right across the line for rideshare services, whether it's Uber, Lyft, taxis, limos, all affected, paying more, which means you'll be paying more. The cost always passed on to the traveler, the passenger. Joe, take us right into the story, will you? This is the main ride-sharing lot here, right off the terminals themselves. Real busy on this Tuesday night, and as way it goes with these new fees, you'll be paying $2 more to get picked up here, dropped off here by a ride-share service. All of that starts in 30 days, so it'll go from the $4 fee now up to a $6 fee, again, starting in 30 days. So you have a little time to prepare for that, and even the more expensive fee increase coming if you go curbside. To the video we go, we'll get to the other side of the story. There it is, the LAX terminals and that famed traffic, the main congestion moving through, and it really hasn't even hit like a busy Friday night with all the red eyes getting through here, so you can just imagine the traffic going through. In any event, though, we're talking about these new fees. If it goes curbside, you want to get picked up, dropped off there by your ride-sharing service, you're talking about an increase from $5 now up to $12. That is coming soon, probably sometime later this summer when that goes into effect. Talking to the travelers, the passengers tonight, oh, they don't like it because they know they're the ones who are going to have to be putting the bill with this higher fee. And then you talk to the rideshare drivers themselves, Uber, Lyft drivers. They are frustrated, telling me they're barely hanging on the way it is now, worried that these new fees will even cut into their service, cut into their bottom line even more. And, well, they're just downright frustrated. Listen.
I can tell you 100,000 of people driving for Uber, Lyft, and people like me are sacrificing. Losing my house. I can't make it.
And then this new increase really hurts more.
Yeah, it is. It is, and it's very sad. We don't charge them, they charge. We are not access to charge passengers, they charge. Uber, Lyft, they charge them.
So this could be the end of you driving maybe, huh?
Well, I'm looking for different jobs, but I can't find them. It's very sad.
Hey man, everything there, squeeze. Like lemon squeeze, you drive, they throw you away.
Yeah.
You know, but it doesn't apply to the drivers.
Right.
Yeah, they do whatever they want. You know?
Yeah, they just take the money, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't apply to us anyway.
Yeah.
The whole time we were like just walking over here from the terminal, we were watching the prices go up like $30 and $40 just before we even booked our Uber.
And then now, again, 30 days, it's going to
Yeah.
be $2 more just to come here to the lot. You know.
That's outrageous. They shouldn't do that to people.
I mean, you got to pay it.
I know. I mean, it would really help their tourism if they wouldn't do that, you know?
I know. Well, Uber out tonight criticizing the fare increases. Check it, saying, quote, raising the LAX rideshare fees would punish travelers, working families, and seniors who depend on affordable and reliable transportation. Uber supports improving LAX, but not on the backs of the people who keep it running. Stop quote. Now we're back out live, and you are looking live at another part of this story. That's the main entrance there, the upper level of the Skylink trains, the People Mover as it's called, and that new increase if you're dropped off curbside from $5 to $12, that goes into effect once that People Mover is up and running. Your guess is as good as mine. You know, it's already been delayed a couple of times. They're saying maybe sometime later this year, sometime this summer, the People Mover might be up and running. So when that is going, then that new fee increase to be dropped off curbside goes into effect as well. So in any event, all of this is playing off. But again, it's really laid as a way of, as the airport commissioners say, controlling all of the traffic going in here. Quick question for you ladies. I learned this today. What do you think on an average day, just one day alone, how many vehicles do you think go through here, LAX, one day alone? Take a guess, wild guess.
Ooh, 75,000.
Yes. Now up higher, one more, higher, a little higher.
120?
A little lower. I feel like Bob Barker here, and the price is right.
100, give or take. 100.
No. 100. You got it. Yes, that's exactly what the airport commissioners were saying. On any given day, 100,000 vehicles moving through here, and they say it's just too much. The airport, this infrastructure here can't handle it, so it's all a way of moving people more into the transportation, that Skylink train, once it's up and going. And of course, they're trying to get ready for the big World Cup and all the travelers that will be coming here this summer. So a lot playing out here at LAX tonight.
Yeah, and let's focus on that part for just a second, because obviously the higher fees, that's definitely an ouch for everybody. But the whole idea is to ease that congestion that we know is a part of LAX.
Yeah, that is a very, very big concern, because we see it on those busy nights, holidays, but even summertime when you're coming up. And as somebody was saying tonight, spring break is coming up too. In a couple of weeks, it's going to get very busy. But sometimes as you're trying to move through here, just trying to get into, let's say, the upper level or even the lower level, you might wait sometimes 45 minutes or an hour. I know that sounds crazy, but that's how heavy that traffic is, with the 3-4 lanes just jammed bumper to bumper. And then everybody trying to move closer to the pickups on the curbside. And then you add all the ride share, folks that are coming in. So yes, it's a tremendous congestion. They really want to ease that. They're really banking a lot, as we've been reporting on over and over again, that people mover once it's up and going. But there's been a lot of frustration with that, delays with that. So they're hoping this summer it'll be going, and that's when the new fees increase. And all of this, though, has got that tight deadline, ladies, because think about it, what's like 3 months away, and we're into the World Cup coming here. So boy, it is a tight deadline.
Yeah, I mean, we're 80-something days away now, I think, or 90-something days away until the World Cup. Ed, we need to get you one of those little skinny microphones. Call you Ed Barker.
Yes, like the legendary Bob Barker. Yeah, rest his soul.
All right, very good. Thank you, Ed.
Taking a live look outside, enjoy the cool weather while you can. A potentially record-breaking heat wave is heading our way.
Here's Chief Meteorologist Adam Kruger with those details. Yet another heat wave.
Another one. I feel like saying, let's guess how hot the temperatures are going to be, like 75, 120. Those are not bad guesses, right? We're going to end up into the 90s for sure for a lot of us a little bit later on this week. We've got heat advisories in effect already, but they start Thursday and continue into Friday. And temperatures overall will be hotter than what we saw this past weekend. You know how hot that was. Although the upcoming heat is not from Santa Ana winds. This is a very warm air mass, extremely warm for this time of year, air mass coming our direction. But today was like the refreshing day before we get into that warmer air. Tonight's going to be cool in the 50s. You see, going into 3 o'clock in the morning at the end there, will be down around 54 degrees. Tomorrow will be warmer than today. We had a high of 70 degrees downtown LA today. We're going to go to the upper 70s. Cooler near the coast, warmer into the valleys and IE for tomorrow. But we start the warm up tomorrow. We're not in that heat advisory range just yet. Yeah, it's kind of warm, but it's certainly not that hot. The real hot temperatures coming Thursday, Friday. Again, lots of 90s at that time. Highs around the rest of the area for tomorrow. It's going to be hot in some spots like Palm Springs, up to 90 degrees. Across the high desert, we're looking at 80. As we bring you in a little closer, you may have seen Santa Clarita was around 85 there for tomorrow. Valleys to Inland Empire, low to mid 80s will be common. Close to 80 for LA. Inland from there, we are a little bit warmer. And then again, near the coast, it is just a little bit cooler. Watch what happens as we switch to Thursday. Now, here's our surge of heat. 80s along the coast, 90s for inland areas. Friday is going to be similar, and there's a lot more heat to go into next week. We'll get to that coming up a little bit later. For now, back to you.
All right, Adam, thank you. Murder charges are filed against the woman accused of shooting at the home of music superstar Rihanna. Prosecutors also revealing just how close those bullets may have come to the singer and her family. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez reports.
The charges that have been filed against Ms. Ortiz include 1 count of attempted murder, 10 felony counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm, and 3 felony counts of shooting at an inhabited dwelling or camper.
LA County DA Nathan Hockman outside the courtroom where Ivana Lizette Ortiz appeared.
Ms. Ortiz, you have the statutory and constitutional right to be arraigned today.
The judge not allowing us to show Ortiz's face in court. The 35-year-old Florida woman allegedly opened fire with an assault rifle on singer Rihanna's home this weekend. Rihanna was actually inside this bullet-riddled Airstream trailer, and her children were in the house. No one was injured.
Rihanna was there with her partner, her 3 children, her mother, and 2 staff people, representing 8 of the 10 of the counts of dealing with an assault with a semi-automatic firearm.
Ortiz's social media accounts repeatedly refer to Rihanna, including this January 21st post.
I'm fighting with the devil himself, and that's why you got Rihanna over there all jealous, because how am I Because her faith is the devil. Rihanna's faith is the devil, okay? I don't like her, and she's always trying to steal from me.
Here, mugshots of Ortiz provided by Florida authorities after being arrested on domestic violence allegations dating back to 2023. She was also rearrested that year after police say she violated a domestic violence protection order. As for the Rihanna case here,
Ms. Ortiz, if and when convicted of these charges, is facing up to life in state prison. Her bail has been set by the court at $1,875,000.
initially Ortiz entered a no guilty plea, but they quickly withdrew that and decided to postpone the arraignment. So she enters no plea. We get to do this all over again March 25th. I'm Christina Gonzalez in downtown Los Angeles, Fox 11 News.
Tonight, a jury in downtown LA has decided a lawsuit involving rapper Ye, formerly Kanye West, but the verdict won't be revealed until tomorrow. That case involves Tony Saxon, a handyman who says Ye promised to pay him $20,000 a week in 2021 for work on his Malibu mansion. Saxon claims he was underpaid, faced unsafe conditions, was fired for refusing dangerous tasks. Ye testified last week, often unsure of details, was previously fined for delaying legal responses.
Well, tonight a new mental health center is opening up in LA's Chinatown. Mayor Karen Bass there for the ribbon cutting, believing this center is just one step that could help decrease homelessness across the city.
Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf live in downtown tonight after getting a chance to speak with the mayor. Matthew?
Yeah, we did get some time with the mayor. It was a little bit split up, but we got to talk about the topic of homelessness. If you take a look at this video, this is the homeless mental health facility that you were talking about, the ribbon cutting there today with the mayor at the event in Chinatown. They say it will be for children mostly, some in the foster care system, helping hundreds each year. The mayor telling me this will help with homelessness in LA. She says mental health is one of the missing pieces along with residential services, especially for young people in foster care who when they turn 18 or 21, she says, fall through the crack. Now, LA's Housing Services Authority reports a decrease in homelessness 2 years in a row. And while some in the city disagree with those numbers, I did get about 2 minutes with the mayor tonight to talk about homeless.
This is the second year in a row that street homelessness is down.
But there's just overall a lack of trust with these numbers.
Oh,
It's not what people see.
I understand that, but I will tell you something. It is absolutely what you see if you live on a block or you had a business where there was a large encampment and that encampment is gone and has not come back for years. Now, again, we have much more to do, but I am glad that we are headed in the direction where homelessness is on the decline. But again, I'm not going to rest until we have no one sleeping on our streets.
We're speaking with people, they see the trash on the streets, they see the encampments. They don't feel like this is getting better. They'll call 311. Their lights are out for a year. I mean, what can we do to fix this?
Well, there's a lot of things that we can do, are doing, much more to do.
So we did get a couple more questions in there before she left, including whether or not she believes LAUSD should have more money, and we'll have that full story tonight at 10 o'clock. Reporting live downtown, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
In the equation of, helping the mental health crisis, where does this health center factor into that? Meaning you get some people off the streets, you bring them to this mental health center? Is that how that works?
So primarily this center is going to be focused on the youth, I believe under 26 years old. So there will be maybe some crossover for people on the street, but also it's going to be focused on those in the foster care system and really any youth in this general area that are having mental health issues that can go there and seek some treatment.
Did she talk much about the foster care? Because we know that's been an issue for her really throughout her whole career.
Yeah, and she did speak to foster care saying that, if we can get these kids help and get them resources, especially with mental health, it could help them from possibly getting into homelessness when they become adults and, as she said, slipping through the cracks.
A bit of prevention there. All right. Thank you. A hazmat scare at Disneyland sent 7 cast members to the hospital earlier today. Sky Fox over the scene. Firefighters responded to reports of an unknown odor near the Star Tours attraction around 12:30. Several employees were treated on site while 7 were hospitalized with symptoms like dizziness and shortness of breath. Disneyland officials say the smell came from building materials used by a contractor backstage. Park operations continued as normal, and officials say no guests were affected.
Tonight, embattled LA School Superintendent Alberto Carvalho is responding, breaking his silence for the first time after FBI raids at his home and office. His spokesperson and law firm writing this in part. Mr. Carvalho remains confident that the evidence will ultimately demonstrate that he acted appropriately and in the best interests of students. We hope the school board reinstates him promptly to his position as superintendent. The FBI investigation focuses on All Here, a failed multi-million-dollar chatbot for LA schools known as ED. The school board met today for the first time since Carvalho was placed on leave. Acting superintendent there, he led the meeting, which partly focused on federal immigration raids and their effect on families.
Please know we stand with you. We will support you. We will ensure that our campuses are safe, secure, and welcoming environments for our students and staff.
Andres Chait now facing major challenges as acting superintendent, including a worsening budget outlook for the school district and tense labor talks. Still ahead at 8, the war with Iran rages on, but questions remain. What's the end game and what's the timeline?
Look at where the battle stands now and what's on the line.
A gross and expensive problem that could pop up under the hood of your car. What's causing rats to chew the wiring? Next.
We've been hearing Iran's inventory of missiles and other weapons is rapidly decreasing.
But as Fox's Jennifer Griffin reports, the U.S. is facing a similar problem.
5,000 targets struck, 50 Iranian naval vessels sunk, but Iran continues attacks on Gulf countries.
Are they more formidable than you anticipated, General?
I think they're fighting, and I respect that, but I don't think they're more formidable than what we thought.
The two biggest pressures on President Trump, the rising cost of oil and the strain on stockpiles of expensive munitions. The U.S. military used more than 150 of the 534 THAAD interceptors during last summer's Iranian operation. The 2026 defense budget adds only 37 more to the arsenal.
We risk getting into a very precarious situation, one that could invite or tempt somebody like China.
President Xi of China has set 2027 as the year in which his military should be ready to take Taiwan by force if necessary. The U.S. Navy will need missile defense systems for its bases throughout the Pacific, its Navy warships and long-range missiles to defend Taiwan and deter China. President Trump says the U.S. military has a limitless stockpile of weapons, but also met with key defense contractors last Friday and pressed them to quadruple production.
But we have unlimited middle and upper ammunition, which is really what we're using in this war. And we have really an unlimited supply.
The Pentagon spent $5.6 billion in munitions during the first 2 days of the assault, according to lawmakers briefed on Capitol Hill, and will need at least a $50 billion supplemental from Congress.
We need to be all in and finish the job. I've never been more impressed with a military operation than I am at Epic Fury.
I emerged from this briefing as dissatisfied and angry, frankly, as I have from any past briefing in my 15 years in the Senate.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky sent a team of Ukrainian counter-drone experts to the Middle East to show the Gulf states and Jordan how to defend against Iran's Shahed drones, which Russia fires at Ukraine almost every night. Axios first reported a Ukrainian team offered to provide the U.S. with its counter-drone technology to defend bases in the Middle East during a meeting last August at the White House between Presidents Trump and Zelensky, but the Pentagon did not follow up. In Washington, Jennifer Griffin, Fox News.
Well, gas prices in Southern California jumped almost 9 cents overnight. The average in LA County is now $5.34, the highest since May 2024. The price is now 62 cents higher than just 1 week ago. Nationwide, the average is up 41 cents in 1 week. U.S. stocks holding steadier today. U.S. and Brent crude prices both closed lower than the day before, but experts warn the Strait of Hormuz does not reopen. We are looking at the largest supply disruption in modern history. Well, a disturbing problem is happening under the hood of cars. Rodents chewing through the wiring and causing thousands of dollars in damages.
Mechanics say it's happening more often. Our Nick Garcia with a story you'll see only on Fox 11.
Cesar Vargas is driving a rental car because his 2023 Toyota Corolla is in the shop.
As I'm driving, now my car turns into a Vegas slot machine and all these lights come on.
He looked under the hood and found a rat had chewed through several wires.
I see all these wires, they went in, now it was a buffet. All types of wires were chewed up. I take my car in the following day, now they tell me that it's $6,000 worth of wiring.
He knew it was a rat because the same thing happened to his car a month ago. That time, it was $5,000 in damage, which his insurance covered. The root of the problem, the soy-based material used to cover the wires.
Basically, for a critter, it's dinner on a plate for them.
There's a nest right there.
Mechanic David Griffin of Claremont Auto Care says he sees cars with rodent-related damage 4 to 5 times a week.
That they'll chew on that wiring, and there's something in that wiring that they like and attracts them and makes them just eat more.
He says he's seen an increase in this problem over the past 5 years.
They could also chew into fuel line, brake, if it's a rubber brake line, they could start trying to chew at rubber brake lines. I mean, they'll chew through anything pretty much if they have enough time.
As Cesar waits to see if his insurance company will approve a second claim, he's trying to make sure everyone knows the risk.
So it's more common than you know for these critters to crawl in your car and eat all your wiring, and that's scary.
Now, there are some things you can do to try to protect your car. There are products online like rodent repelling spray. Apparently, rats don't like the smell of mint. And there's also rodent repelling tape that you can put on those wires yourself. In Claremont, I'm Nick Garcia, Fox 11 News.
All right, well, coming up, if you're not ready to say bye, bye, bye to boy bands, you don't have to.
A local spot putting the pop icons on a pedestal. Next.
Is sponsored by My Home Sold.
So summer starts this week. Kruger?
Well,
We're going to skip over spring.
Why not?
I mean, it was like summer this last weekend, too, so it's kind of like we're already in it. But we've cooled off significantly since then, and then, yes, we're going to ramp up to summer-like temps. 90s coming just a couple of days from now, and a long stretch of very warm weather is headed to Southern California. So, yeah, you could say summer is kind of settling in here. That's the live view from Mount Wilson right now. You can see a little bit of thin, low cloud cover. Those clouds will build up a little bit more overnight. We start mostly cloudy in some spots tomorrow morning, but then a sunny and warmer day tomorrow. Today's 70, which is right around average for this time of year. Normal is 69 for downtown LA. Notice the record high for this date is 96. We've got records later this week that are around like 93 or 90, depending on the exact day we're talking about. And we could be breaking those daily record highs. And by the way, the hottest it's ever been for any day in March is 99 degrees going by downtown LA. And we might get close to that maybe this week or next week. So again, we're going to get into that heat in a moment. Let's look back at the temperatures on the map for the highs today. Lots of 60s, some 70s. Again, quite a bit cooler than what we had this past weekend. Our warming starts tomorrow, though. Heat advisories in effect Thursday and Friday because of the 90s coming. And like I said, a long duration heat wave is on the way. It's coming in from this area of high pressure. This is unusually warm for this time of year, and it's going to settle in for a long time. I also want to point out some major weather going on in some other parts of the country. Look at this stretch of severe weather, big outbreak from Texas all the way up into the Midwest. There's been some tornadoes reported, some very large hail reported out of all this. It's still ongoing right now. We've got all sorts of alerts over Dallas at the moment, around Chicago. There have been tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, and between Dallas and Chicago, lots going on as well. So you might hear or see some of the damage coming out of that by later tonight or tomorrow from all those storms. Back here locally now, again, some clouds tomorrow morning. We start the day in the 50s. We'll be warmer tomorrow, upper 70s to near 80 degrees for LA. Lots of sunshine. Near the coast, a little cooler. Valleys and Inland Empire, a little bit warmer. There's the wide view. Let's bring it in closer here. Again, you see those 70s, the 80s on the map, maybe still under 70 for parts of the coast tomorrow. Then a drastic shift to our high temperatures on Thursday. So we're looking at first across the deserts, upper 80s in the high desert. We've got 90s in the low desert. We'll take you in closer. We see 90s for Los Angeles, inland areas, the valleys, the Inland Empire along the coast. 80 plus is a possibility. Switching it to Friday, temperatures are about the same here. So here's another day where record heat is possible once again. Look at all the red. Red would show where temperatures are in the 90s. We're well into the 80s along the coast on Friday. It's because of this area of high pressure, which again is bringing very warm air our way. Now the high will be pretty much centered overhead Thursday and Friday. This one moves away then this weekend, but we're still kind of in between this and another one, which means temperatures still are warm this weekend, just not as hot as we see Thursday and Friday. Then we go to next week. This next one settles in over us by Monday or Tuesday, and that is likely to hold all through next week, which means we're talking about 7 to 10 days here where it's going to be a heat wave with temperatures way above normal. Normal, by the way, starting tomorrow is 70 degrees. So we're above that tomorrow. We're into the 90s Thursday and Friday. We've got 80s this weekend and into next week. For the coast, again, big time warm up coming into the 80s Thursday and Friday, near 80 this weekend. And finally, the valleys in the Inland Empire, several days where it could get over 90 degrees. Back to you.
Go ahead. $1 million reward for this man, for the FBI's most wanted criminals.
We break down his history, plus Laura Diaz.
I'm Laura Diaz in Santa Monica. A local professor comes up with some surprising conclusions about crime and immigrants. Now she's getting threats.
live across SoCal, this is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11.
New tonight, are immigrants more likely to commit crimes? Decades of research suggests the opposite. Now, one criminology professor is being honored for helping debunk that myth.
But the recognition has also sparked backlash, including threats. Fox 11's Laura Diaz, she's live there in Santa Monica with that story tonight. Laura.
Yes, Marla and Christine. Of course, immigration has been a hot button issue, especially the last couple of years with the Trump administration tackling that issue head on. But a study out of UC Irvine has some perhaps surprising conclusions. And one of the authors of that study spoke to me today. She's receiving a prestigious award at the beginning of the summer. Let's listen.
Contrary to these popular perceptions and a lot of political rhetoric, immigrants do not bring crime. There's a huge disconnect with some of the policies and practices we're experiencing and seeing today in our society and what we know from the research.
They're just trying to make a better life for themselves by coming over here. You know, they should be given a fair chance.
This is done by a scientist.
What one scientist? How many scientists will tell you something completely different? So it's just you can't lump people in.
As you just heard, people have their opinions. That was Professor Charis Kubrin, a professor of criminology, law and society at UCI that you heard from at the beginning. She's receiving the prestigious Stockholm Prize for disproving the myth that immigrants cause more crime in their new country. She's also published author, writing this book that you see right there, Immigration and Crime. But while getting accolades, her work is also getting noticed, especially this year, because of the hot button issue of immigration and what it's become. So much so that she says she's received threatening calls and emails at her office. Now, Professor Kubrin says that we should have discussions about immigration reform, but that it must be based on fact and not rhetoric. She reminds everybody she's a scientist, she's a criminologist, and she does not come into it with a pre-existing idea of what the conclusion will be. Now, I asked her what she's doing at this time in terms of the threats she's received. She said that the university has been very helpful in fielding those calls and emails for her, and she never did actually file a police report. As for this important piece of work that she's doing, right now she's working on her acceptance speech, and she said she's received a lot of support from her students and faculty at UC Irvine. I'm Laura Diaz reporting live from Santa Monica, sending it back to the studio.
And Laura, did she hesitate at all to go on camera in case that would bring even more threats, concerns about that?
No, she was actually very calm during our discussion. I think that, like most scientists, they look at data, they analyze it, and they come to their own conclusions. So she said this isn't the first time she's received threats, that she chooses topics that she thinks are important, she studies them, and what she's found historically for her is if some people don't like the conclusions, they can get very animated about it, and sometimes it escalates to a threat. And she said when it starts affecting her family, when people make threats against her child or members of her family, then of course she has to call in to authorities. And in this case, she went to campus police and they reacted to it.
All right, thanks for that update though, and I guess congrats to her on that award. Dozens of missing children have been safely recovered during a major operation in Riverside County. The effort, called Operation Safe Return, was led by the U.S. Marshals Service with help from the California Department of Justice and local police. 37 children were found. Authorities say the operation focused on high-risk missing children and led to the arrest of 7 suspects.
And coming up at 9 o'clock, I speak to Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco about that very operation and the work that his department put into it. More of that at 9. $1 million reward now being offered for information leading to the capture of one of the FBI's most wanted fugitives. Here's the suspect, 30-year-old Omar Alexander Cardenas. Law enforcement officials say he is a known gang member. He's accused of a 2019 shooting outside a Sylmar barbershop where Jabali Dumas was killed.
Detectives and prosecutors allege that Cardenas fired several rounds from a semi-automatic handgun, striking the victim in the head, causing his death. It is unknown whether the victim was known to Cardenas. However, through our investigation, we believe that to be true.
Now, this is footage from that day in August of 2019. Cardenas is about 5'6", between 240 and 300 pounds. Authorities believe he may have fled to Mexico. They're urging anyone with information to come forward. New details tonight about helping the homeless in Pasadena. The city council approved a plan for Pasadena's All Saints Church to offer safe parking for people living in their cars. The plan was approved in a 5-2 vote after heated debate. Up to 25 people can park overnight near Euclid Avenue and Walnut Street. Supporters say it gives the unhoused dignity and makes streets safer. Some neighbors, though, worry about safety.
The Department of Transportation is jumpstarting discussions on the future of autonomous vehicles. The National AV Safety Forum, leaders from the auto taxi industry coming together for the first time to talk about rules of the road for commercialization of autonomous vehicles. Fox's Darren Botello has more from the event.
The future of driving is autonomous, according to the experts at the first ever National AV Safety Forum here in Washington, D.C. Leaders from the auto taxi industry coming together to discuss the latest developments in vehicle automation and how to make self-driving tech safer.
Self-driving cars represent one of the most transformative applications of frontier technologies that will reshape the daily life.
The Trump administration is looking for ways to cut through regulatory red tape and accelerate robotaxi deployment on roads across America. Some officials believe self-driving cars will reduce crashes and help elder and disabled Americans drive.
And I think technology can have a profound impact on saving more lives in America.
Waymo's co-CEO detailing how the company is providing 400,000 trips per week across 5 U.S. cities using a car with no human behind the wheel.
Been able to demonstrate a 10x reduction in serious injury or worse crashes compared to humans driving in the same area.
Another major concern is national security. The vehicles are seemingly collecting massive amounts of biometric and location data. There are also potential privacy and cybersecurity issues.
So all of the actuation commands and decisions are made on vehicle. Even when the vehicle receives breadcrumbs or a confirmation, it is still responsible for making the decision.
Another major hurdle is public confidence. A new poll from UC San Diego found 62% of people would not want to ride in a driverless vehicle. In Washington, Darren Botello, Fox Business.
This month, we're highlighting women who are not just succeeding in their industries, but changing them. Academy Award nominated producer Chiara Telesi is on a mission to reshape how women are represented on screen and behind the camera.
She co-wrote and co-produced the film Tell It Like a Woman, which brought together female directors from around the world. Well, now her foundation, it's a nonprofit called We Do It Together, is launching a global empowerment campaign called I Am. And Chiara joins us now in studio to delve more into this campaign and her foundation. Congratulations on it all.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's amazing that the I Am campaign, it launched actually on the NASDAQ building in Times Square. I mean, so many eyeballs on that with amazing women like Helen Mirren and Sharon Stone. What did it mean for you to have women like that launch this campaign?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. This campaign, I Am campaign, wants to underline the value of women, not as an object, but as a subject. So to have wonderful women that, you know, they are empowering other women, they are an example for other women, for us has been, for We Do It Together, has been such an honor to have them. So we are very excited. The campaign is traveling the world from, you know, Rome, Rio de Janeiro, London, you know, and hopefully Los Angeles soon. We really hope so.
You have an amazing website, and it's a who's who of people that you work with when it comes to women. I'm wondering about the barriers you still see in the business. You've been in mainstream media, now you have the foundation. What barriers do you still see?
Well, it's a cultural barrier. So unfortunately, we are, you know, unfortunately, the numbers are telling us the story. And the story is not a good one at the moment. So we went back 20 years. Numbers are incredibly devastating. 1 woman out of 3 is victim of sexual or physical violence around the world, and it will take 300 years. So around 13 generations to reach gender parity globally. This number has changed slightly since 2020.
So you're telling these stories?
I'm trying to change the culture of objectification of women, which is one of the reasons of violence against women. So we're not object, and if we are represented as an object, then we will be treated as subjects. So to give you an idea, we want to tell stories of women that inspire men and women, story of wonderful women in history. Think about it, that in history we are represented 0.5%. And we are 51% of the population. So there is a lack of misrepresentation. This is the biggest problem. And talking with the United Nations, it tells, they agree that the biggest problem that we have is a cultural problem.
So shifting the narrative from I am an object to I am a subject, and you chose two words, I am. Why those two words?
Because I am is a subject.
Okay.
By itself,
Okay,
so
right.
I am. So that's the reason why we chose I am, which is a powerful statement.
And are you asking women then to finish that sentence, meaning I am Marla and I am strong?
Yes.
Sort of a thing.
Yes. I am I am creative, I am a unifier, like Sharon Stone chose I am a unifier, right? Helen Mirren chose I am a fighter. I chose I am a dreamer because, I dreamed about be a part of the change, so.
Quickly, you have another film coming out. This is
Yeah.
narrated by Ed Norton.
I know. Yeah, as a social impact filmmaker, tomorrow at the Chinese Theater, we have the premiere of Fasting and the Longevity Revolution, based upon Professor Walter Longo books, and Edward Norton is the narrator. And this is an incredible journey that, we did through, Italy, Ecuador. So it's a game changer type of a documentary. So nutrition is super important, longevity, and we hear it from Walter Longo, who is, an expert in the field.
Wow. So from health to women's image and stereotyping and all of that, breaking barriers. You're a powerhouse.
Oh,
you are a powerhouse.
Thank you.
And a dream. Yeah.
Well, I just, have the opportunity to tell these stories, but I'm not the one creating the story. So, I'm just here to a magnifier. I'm just a magnifier.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, coming up, we are checking in with Chief Meteorologist Adam Kruger.
Yeah, if you missed it earlier, we were talking about possible record heat coming our way later this week. Heat advisories posted for Thursday and Friday. It'll be hotter than this past weekend. I've got the details in the forecast coming up.
Well, are you obsessed with boy bands? Totally in sync with NSYNC, 100% into 98 degrees.
Very cute. We've got the perfect pop-up for you. Fox 11's Coco McAvoy is in Hollywood at the Boy Band Bar.
Hey there, the Remix Room in Hollywood has this newer boy band bar pop-up experience. Pretty much every boy band you can imagine is represented in some way here, including 98 Degrees, which was my favorite boy band growing up. And there's even a Boys to Men poster. That was my very first concert. So it's really cool to be here in this bar. I am here now with Camila and Elle, the co-owners. So this is inspired by your boy band room, right, Elle?
It is. It is. I have a guest room in my house that kind of looks like this, and it was my bedroom when I was a kid.
And what has this section been like when people are here for this bar?
I mean, this is like the favorite photo op. All the girls, even the boys, they're all on the bed, they're on the phone, they're kicking their legs up and just recreating what it was like in high school when you actually had a corded phone, for those of you who had corded phones.
Right. We want to get over here to Allie now. Ooh, beautiful decor on top. Tell us about what you just made.
Yeah, so this is our That's What Makes You Beautiful, based off of the One Direction song, of course. It's very tropical. It's Malibu mango, a little bit of orgeat, blue curacao. Very, very sweet, very nice and refreshing. We love it. One of our most popular ones.
I can imagine because it's so beautiful, but they really all are. So take us through the others.
So this one is our rye stuff, our whiskey-based cocktail. We have our Burning Up, which is gin, a little jalapeno triple sec, pineapple, cucumber, super refreshing as well. Over here we have our It's Gonna Be My, very tropical, very fruity, like a Mai Tai kind of. And then we have our Spritz Playing Games with My Heart, which is like Prosecco, hibiscus, super lovely as well. And at the end, we have our Dirty Pop, which is orange vodka, cream soda, and whipped cream, like an Orange Julius.
Thank you so much, Allie. Thank you so much to Camila and Elle as well for a wonderful morning, really celebrating all of that nostalgia and just remembering all of the great songs that we loved so much and being able to celebrate it. So come here to Remix Room in Hollywood. They've got karaoke every single night, but for this pop-up, of course, they're celebrating all pop music. So make sure that you know your pop songs when you come here and get some tickets. This is really, really fun. I'll bring it back to you.
Thank you, Coco. That's a good way to kick off your Tuesday morning.
I know you're going to say, what's your favorite boy band? Do you have one? Do you have one?
Oh, my goodness. I would say, well, New Kids on the Block from back in the day.
Yeah, see that one?
I mean, that was really the boy band that was hot when I was growing up.
I remember my whole school was like against New Kids on the Block.
And KOTB?
I don't know why. But it was then for me, like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC.
Yes.
Like, but even that, I look at them way different than I did now.
I don't have a favorite, but I do love the hits from each of them.
Oh, yeah,
right?
totally.
It's amazing how they've survived. Like, some of those songs are still.
And the reunions, I saw the Backstreet Boys relatively recently at the Hollywood Bowl, and they're fun.
Right?
It's so fun. Are you kidding me?
Singing every word. Yeah. All right, how about the weather? Because we know it's changing.
Yeah, dressed for the 90s, not just for the boy bands.
You
but like the
go. Weather, I love
it. Very hot in a couple of days. I'm going to start with the 7-day, and we'll kind of go from there, breaking down why it's going to be fluctuating the way it is. But you can see tomorrow we're warmer than we were today, upper 70s. But then we're going to the 90s Thursday and Friday, maybe some record highs on those days. Still very warm this weekend, still very warm next week. We're probably launching into what's going to be like a week and a half long heat wave for us. The reason why in the short term, a couple of days from now, why the heat is going to ramp up is we've got this area of high pressure that's unusually warm for this time of year. And so that's coming our direction. We've got a low moving away. That's what's been helping us be a little cooler the last couple of days. This low is also helping to stir up some severe weather. I mentioned this earlier, and I think there's going to be more and more kind of like national news headlines coming out of what's going on here with these storms, because there have just been ongoing, like a stretch from Texas to Chicago and some areas outside of that as well, of major hail. I've seen some reports of hail over 3 inches in size, like grapefruit size hail in some spots. There have been multiple tornado reports out of this line of severe weather as well. So this is a really big severe weather outbreak going on right now. There you see from Dallas to Chicago and beyond. You can see flash flood warnings, there's severe thunderstorm warnings, all kinds of stuff going on with that big line of storms. Back here at home, of course, it is quiet. We've got temperatures tonight that will be kind of cool. Not that it's that cool for this time of year, but in the 50s and some spots maybe reaching the 40s. Some of the valleys, Inland Empire could have a couple areas reaching the 40s overnight. And then we go into tomorrow, and it starts getting warmer. We're really not into the heat wave yet. That's more so Thursday when the heat advisories start, but it will be warmer tomorrow. So we've got 80 up towards the high desert, Antelope Valley, Santa Clarita up to 85. Into the valleys, the Inland Empire, 80s will be common as well. The hot spot is Palm Springs in the low desert there at 90 degrees. As we come in a little closer, you see there's that change from 80s to 70s to 60s closer to the coast. So still there's some cool-ish spots tomorrow. Here we go to Thursday, though, and we really got the heat ramping up. So in the deserts, you see 90s or 80s, depending on which part we're talking about. We come in closer, and we've got a lot of 90s on the map. We've got 80s for the coast on Thursday, and we're not done there. We've got this high, like I said, that's moving in, so that brings us some very warm air Thursday and Friday. It moves by. We're still warm, just not as hot this weekend. Then the next high comes in. Monday into Tuesday, temperatures start going back up, and this is likely to anchor itself here all the way through next week. So highs over the next 7 days. Again, we talked about LA. There you see the 90s Thursday, Friday, 80s after that. Here we go to the coast, I should say, 70 tomorrow, but 80s Thursday and Friday, near 80 this weekend. And the valleys in the Inland Empire, we've got very hot temperatures as well, 90s and 80s all the way into next week. Back to you.
All right, we still have more news ahead at 8.
But first, here's a preview of what's coming up at 9. A warning tonight from Chevron. What the company says gas prices could skyrocket by more than $1 a gallon in the next 4 years. Plus, Duke's Malibu set to reopen after months of repairs. We'll tell you when ahead at 9. From rat poison to diamond earrings, we're getting a look inside America's lost luggage.
Unclaimed baggage is an Alabama thrift store selling luggage airlines couldn't return to their owners. Some of the unique finds last year included a fully assembled robot, a set of gold diamond grills, a full beekeeping outfit. Other items, samurai swords, a bionic knee, and a small piece of meteorite that fell to Earth in the 1500s. The most expensive find, a Rolex worth an estimated $43,000. Unclaimed baggage does say, good news here, about 99.9% of checked bags eventually does find its way back to the owner.
I'm surprised that a Rolex costs or is priced higher than a meteorite from the 1500s.
You'd think that 1500s thing would be like really, priceless kind of thing.
Yeah.
I guess you can get it
Can't
cheap.
even wear your Rolex these days.
All right, that's what we're not done yet.
Nope. LA Live News Tonight continues at 9 right after the break.
Live across SoCal, this is LA Live News Tonight. Fox 11 Plus.
Now at 9, tensions escalate as the war in Iran reaches its most
service. The crews on board this
stays closed. Plus, heading to the airport, your ride-share trip could soon cost you a lot more. We're live with behind the big fee hike.
And we're in downtown LA tonight asking Mayor Bass questions about homelessness. Her answers coming up.
We've got very hot temperatures on the way later this week. Heat advisories in place for Thursday and Friday as we head into the 90s. Record highs possible. We'll have those details coming up. Marla.
All right, Adam, thank you. And thank you for being with us. You're watching LA Live News Tonight. I'm Marla Tejas. Well, earlier today, the Board of Airport Commissioners approved new fees for Uber and Lyft rides. They apply to taxis and limousines, too. So why are they upping the price, and how is it already affecting people? Let's go live to Fox 11's Ed Lascos. He's there at LAX with some answers for us tonight. Ed?
And Marla, it's really all about controlling, easing the traffic congestion, moving into LAX, the upper level, the lower level. Joe, take us real quick into the story. Talk about the traffic congestion. Look at all those red lights, the tail lights. That's the traffic moving in, trying to get to the upper level and move into Terminal 1 and go across the horseshoe. That's what they're talking about, easing that congestion. And as Joe gives us a look over to the left, this is the main ride-share lot over here. And this new fee hike really covers all the ride-sharing services, Uber, Lyft, taxis, limos. And here, if you come to be dropped off or picked up in 30 days, it'll cost you $2 more. The fees go from $4 to $6, and that's just the beginning. Watch. LAX congested with traffic as usual, and that's what's driving the new higher fees. You will soon be paying more when using rideshare to get to and from LAX.
That's outrageous. They shouldn't do that to people.
I mean, you got to pay it.
I know. I mean, it would really help their tourism if they wouldn't do that, you know?
I know. These just approved fee increases apply to all rideshare services like Uber, Lyft, taxis, and limos. $2 more for a pickup or drop-off here at the rideshare lot.
The whole time we were Like just walking over here from the terminal, we were watching the prices go up.
And it's even more expensive, jumping from $5 to $12 if you go curbside to the terminal.
Hey, man. Everything there, squeeze, like lemons.
Rideshare drivers more than frustrated. They're worried the higher fees will cut their business even more.
We don't charge them, they charge. We are not access to charge passengers, they charge. Uber, Lyft, they charge them.
So this could be the end of you driving maybe, huh?
Well, I'm looking for different jobs, but I can't find them. It's very sad.
Uber out tonight criticizing the fee increases. Check it, quote, raising the LAX rideshare fees would punish travelers, working families, and seniors who depend on affordable, reliable transportation. Uber supports improving LAX, but not on the backs of the people who keep it running. Airport officials hope the higher fees will push the travelers onto the People Mover, or the Skylink trains as it's called, hopefully finally up and running sometime later this year, all to ease the heavy traffic flowing through the terminal horseshoe. But the travelers wonder, at what cost?
I don't have a choice. I mean, if I have to, got to pay the price.
Gotta pay the price, he says. Now you're looking live. That's the new part of the terminal for the People Mover that we've been talking about. That's the end goal here that'll push a lot of the travelers onto the train system and the People Mover whenever it gets going. Remember that new fee increase, the big increase, if you go curbside to be dropped off, that goes into effect once that People Mover is up and running. But you can see there's no action up there now. On occasion, you'll see one of the train cars going back and forth as they test the system. But we have no idea, Marlo, when that's going to be up and running. They were saying maybe sometime this summer. As you know, we've been reporting it's been delayed a few times. So that's the big question here. But a lot of concern as the travelers say, just give us a break. I like that one lady. Did you catch her, Amber, from, her and her family coming in here from, it was Mississippi, I think, yeah, they were coming in. And she was saying it sends a bad message to a lot of the travelers, the tourists, especially with the World Cup coming up, that you got these fees going up,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of people agree with Amber. In a perfect world, it sounds like the Board of Commissioners there, they would be fine if Uber and Lyft just said, hey, we're not going to go there anymore, because that would ease congestion.
I hate to say that, but that's just right. It would ease the congestion. You have a lot of the limos that also affects it. It's not the old-fashioned limos. It's like, the caddies, the Escalades, the big black limos, the SUVs. They continually move through and will go through. A lot of the, some of the airport police, when I was here a few days ago, were saying that's been a big problem. But yeah, the congestion, look at that backup. And we're approaching the 9 o'clock, a little over 9 o'clock at night. It's a Tuesday night, so it's not a big travel night. You still have that congestion. And remember what we were saying last hour, Marla, what was it, like 100,000 vehicles a day go through that horseshoe? So no wonder they want to cut back on the congestion. You remember that number, right? 100,000?
100,000 vehicles make their way to LAX. And the old joke, Ed, that's the true sign of love if you'll pick somebody up from LAX.
I guess. I hadn't heard that one in a long time, but you're right. Wanting to put up with that, yeah, you got to love somebody to come down here.
All right, Ed, thanks so much. Southern California, brace yourselves for a major heat wave as we are taking you live from above where where Ed is down below at LAX. Temperatures are set to climb 20 to 30 degrees above normal this week. Chief Meteorologist Adam Kruger, this would be heat wave number 2, and we haven't even officially made it to spring yet.
Yeah, that is all true, yes. And here we go with temperatures that even in summertime would be considered very hot around here, as lots of us will see 90s in a couple of days. Of course, you go back to the weekend, we had the Santa Ana winds bringing the very hot temperatures. This is more so just from a area of high pressure that is unusually warm for this time of year, and that's bringing the hot air our way. Low pressure moving out, high pressure moving in. Temperatures tonight, though, will be nice and refreshing. Here's what we see right now. So many areas in the 50s. Let's move in a little closer, and you'll see a lot of the greater LA area. 50s pretty common. Of course, we'll cool off a little bit from here as we go between now and sunrise tomorrow. So the overnight lows, you can see low 50s will be common, near 50 degrees in some spots. There's those colder areas in some of the valleys in the Inland Empire that may drop into the upper 40s overnight. But we go into tomorrow and we start warming up. We're not in what I would call a heat wave just yet, but it is going to be on the warm side tomorrow, and definitely warmer than it was today. We've got the high desert around 80 degrees. The low desert could be near 90. Up through Santa Clarita, 85. The valleys, the IE, low to mid 80s will be common. And then right along the 5 corridor here, more like upper 70s. That includes downtown Los Angeles. And it will be a little bit cooler near the coast. But the big surge in the heat with the heat advisories going into effect on Thursday. And you can see the reason why. We've got a lot of 90s. And it's not like 90, 91, 92. I mean, we're talking mid 90s in many spots. And even along the coast, temperatures at least up to 80 degrees. And we don't stop there. Friday's very hot. We have a heat wave that'll last more or less through next week. We'll have those details later. Marla.
All right, Adam, thank you so much. Tonight, a new mental health center is opening up in LA's Chinatown. Mayor Karen Bass there for the ribbon cutting, believing this center is just one step that could help decrease homelessness across the city. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf, he's live there in downtown tonight. After getting a chance to speak with the mayor, you talked to her specifically about the issue of homelessness.
Yeah, that's right, Marlo. We've been trying to get an interview, a sit-down interview one-on-one with the mayor for the last several months. We didn't get that today, but we did get a chance to ask her some questions.
1, 2, 3.
LA Mayor Karen Bass cutting the ribbon to a new mental health care center in LA's Chinatown. Do you think this is going to help with homelessness?
Absolutely. This is one of the missing pieces. Mental health and residential services.
This Fox 11's first chance in at least 4 months to ask the mayor questions. When you drive around LA, do you feel good about what you see?
Well, of course, there are still encampments there. We have many more to remove, but we have removed many.
Thank you. The conversation didn't last long.
Good. Got a hot second.
But as the mayor left, we managed to squeeze in more time on homelessness.
This is the second year in a row that street homelessness is down.
But there's just overall a lack of trust with these numbers. That's not what people see.
I understand that, but I will tell you something. It is absolutely what you see if you live on a block or you had a business where there was a large encampment and that encampment is gone and has not come back for years.
LA's Homeless Services Authority reports homelessness has dropped 2 years in a row, while a recent audit raised serious concerns about transparency and questions about how billions of dollars are being spent. They offered you shelter at all, or?
Yeah, I refuse it.
Why is that?
I don't like shelters. Too many bed bugs, thieves.
Inside Safe made a lot of money for the city in using underutilized hotels. We spent $1/3 billion, and most of us are back where we started.
The mayor insists progress is being made as political pressure builds.
Well, there's a lot of things that we can do, are doing, much more to do.
The primary election now less than 3 months away. How would you grade your term so far as mayor?
Thank you.
How would you grade your term so far as mayor?
Thank you, gentlemen.
So we've been trying to get a sit-down interview with Mayor Bass since before Christmas, and tonight we're still waiting for that opportunity. We'll continue putting in those requests. Reporting live downtown, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
So that last question you asked her, how would you grade your term as mayor? We didn't get an answer?
No, I asked a couple of times, and the only answer we got was thank you, and then she got in the car and drove off.
Okay, well, we'll see if, you'll get that sit-down interview. To your point, the election coming up on June 2nd. Did you get the sense that she is concerned about the campaign, the re-election campaign?
It was hard to say. I mean, at today's event, it was really focused on the opening of that mental health facility, and then all the questions that we had were relating to that and homelessness, which she believes is relating to that mental health facility. So we didn't really get any sense of that today.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Matthew Seedorf, live for us tonight. Thank you so much. Murder charges are filed against a woman accused of shooting at the home of pop superstar Rihanna. Prosecutors are now revealing just how dangerously close those bullets may have come to the singer and her family. Here's Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez with those details.
The charges that have been filed against Ms. Ortiz include 1 count of attempted murder, 10 felony counts of assault with a semi-automatic firearm, and 3 felony counts of shooting at an inhabited dwelling or camper.
LA County DA Nathan Hockman outside the courtroom where Ivana Lizette Ortiz appeared.
Ms. Ortiz, you have the statutory and constitutional right to be arraigned today.
The judge not allowing us to show Ortiz's face in court. The 35-year-old Florida woman allegedly opened fire with an assault rifle on singer Rihanna's home this weekend. Rihanna was actually inside this bullet-riddled Airstream trailer, and her children were in the house. No one was injured.
Rihanna was there with her partner, her 3 children, her mother, and 2 staff people, representing 8 of the 10 of the counts of dealing with an assault with a semi-automatic firearm.
Ortiz's social media accounts repeatedly refer to Rihanna, including this January 21st post.
I'm fighting with the devil himself, and that's why you got Rihanna over there all jealous, because how am I, because her faith is the devil. Rihanna's faith is the devil, okay? I don't like her, and she's always trying to steal from me.
Here, mugshots of Ortiz provided by Florida authorities after being arrested on domestic violence allegations dating back to 2023. She was also rearrested that year after police say she violated a domestic violence protection order. As for the Rihanna case here,
Ms. Ortiz, if and when convicted of these charges, is facing up to life in state prison. Her bail has been set by the court at $1,875,000.
Initially, Ortiz entered a no guilty plea, but they quickly withdrew that and decided to postpone the arraignment. So she enters no plea. We get to do this all over again March 25th. I'm Christina Gonzalez in downtown Los Angeles, Fox 11 News.
Up next, the war in Iran reaches a critical point. U.S. strikes ramp up, slashing Iran's missile launches by 90%. And gas prices in Southern California jump almost 9 cents overnight. But could the global supply crisis send them even higher? Plus, a warning from Chevron, why the company says prices could skyrocket by over $1 a gallon in the next 4 years. Tomorrow, the war in Iran enters day 12. The U.S. is intensifying strikes on Iran, targeting over 5,000 sites. Defense officials say the attacks have cut Iran's missile launches by 90% against Israel and Gulf allies. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth called today the most intense day yet. Meanwhile, President Trump predicts the war could end soon, but warns Iran of harsher action if it disrupts oil flow. Gas prices in Southern California are climbing fast, with LA County now averaging $5.34 a gallon. That is the highest since May 2024 and up 62 cents from last week. Nationally, prices are also surging, while experts warn a major supply disruption could be ahead if the Strait of Hormuz remains closed. Well, in a letter to California Governor Gavin Newsom, Chevron executive Andy Walls says the price of gas will increase by more than $1 a gallon by 2030 if the California Air Resources Board adopts proposed amendments to its Cap and Invest program. Walls joined me at 6. Why are you so vehemently opposed to the proposed amendments?
The carbon trade program that you talked about, Cap and Invest, they're calling it now, is really just a tax on local producers, local refiners, and people that manufacture anything in the state of California. And what they're doing is offshoring those jobs, the capability of those things to other countries. And I think it's a very risky strategy to do that. And you talked about Iran in your opening. You know, security of energy is essential for people to live their lives. And my note is about making sure that the California Air Resources Board doesn't make it so that we go out of business and we can't supply those products that people need.
Well, critics would say that Chevron is a multi-billion-dollar company and say you can't afford this.
Well, Chevron and other companies can't afford to invest if there's not an environment where we can get a return to our shareholders. Chevron will go somewhere else and invest. We have options around the world. We've been in California a long time. We want to stay, but it's got to be in a friendly environment where companies like Chevron can invest. 2 refineries closing in the last 6 months should be a warning shot to lawmakers that what they've got going is not the right outcome, and they need to change it urgently.
Is there any cap on emissions and these removal of allowances that you would be, Chevron, you being Chevron, be okay with?
Well, it depends on how much and where and how they do it. If they're going to tax imports, then maybe the refineries can hang around and be around for a lot longer. But currently they don't tax imports. So you can bring gasoline in from Korea, much higher carbon intensity, land it in California and not pay that tax. So we don't think that's right. We don't think that's good for Californians. And we think that this needs urgent attention by the Air Resources Board.
Will this drive out Chevron once and for all if, in fact, just as it's laid out, these proposed changes go into effect in May of this year? Will you shut down the refinery?
Well, Marla, we hope not, but it is risky. What they're doing is wanting to put about $1 billion tax on our 2 refineries over the next 5 to 10 years. And that tax can't be recouped if people are allowed to import. And I think California should be really careful about importing from foreign countries like Korea, China, India. If you see what's happening in Iran right now, there are refineries that can't get access to crude oil. They can't make the products that their countries need. And I think it's a very bad outcome if this is the way California wants to go. Is there just a hard line, Andy, where you would say, yeah, we're going to shut this down? Because I feel like we've been hearing this for some time, but Chevron still exists in El Segundo. Your message to Governor Newsom. Well, Marla, I don't want to shut down. We've got a lot of great people there. We do a lot of great things. We've been there a long time. But we do need lawmakers to understand the consequences of what they're doing. They are just pushing their carbon emissions to another country. They're actually probably raising the carbon emissions. And so California's got aspirational goals that I don't think are achievable, or I don't think they're in the best interest of Californians. People should not be paying $5.50 a gallon for gasoline today in California. They're paying about $2.30 in Houston, $2.40 in Houston, and it's just a program. I think it's bad policy, and I think it's hurting Californians, and I wish people would stand up and do something about it. Well, as the big powerhouse that you are, Chevron, is there anything that Chevron can do to bring down your prices here, specifically in California? Well, Marla, we are trying to bring down prices. We would like to get oil out of the Straits of Hormuz into markets in the U.S. We're working very hard every single day. The main focus for us in Iran right now is about our people and our assets and making sure our people are safe. But we certainly don't like what's going on. We'd like to see this end quickly, and we'd like to get product back to the market like it's supposed to be. The proposed changes to the Cap and Invest program would remove more than 100 million emissions allowances.
Ultimately, this means that this will force companies like refineries to pay more for the work that they do. In a statement to Fox 11, the California Air Resources Board says in part the Cap and Invest program is the most cost-effective way for California to achieve its statutorily mandated climate goals and help ensure liquid fuel supply remains reliable, affordable, and resilient throughout the transition to carbon neutrality. As we hear from the public, affected industries, and our partners in the legislature, we have included time to make adjustments to the draft proposal prior to board consideration. We'll continue to watch that. All right, are immigrants more likely to commit crimes? Coming up, decades of research say no, but one professor's work to challenge that myth is earning both praise and threats.
And we've got another round of heat coming our way in a couple of days. Heat advisories are posted as temperatures head into the 90s. And it's not just that it's going to be hot soon, but it's going to be hot for a long stretch. We'll talk about that in the forecast coming up.
Weather is sponsored by American Career College.
Live look at Catalina there in the casino. Oh, if you haven't been, please do and get a tour of the casino. It's so beautiful inside. All right, the weather is beautiful too. Right now, anyway, it's going to get really hot. Let's check in with our chief meteorologist, Adam Kruger.
Yeah, and this is another thing that's on my list that I've been chipping away at.
Oh, please, you got to go.
I know. My wife and I were just talking about it literally a couple days ago, that's where we need to go soon. We might make that happen in the next month or two. Maybe a good place to be here in the next couple of days when it gets so hot over Southern California. It'd probably be a little bit cooler there at Catalina. But yeah, that's our big story, is just this heat wave coming that's really going to surge Thursday and Friday and then lets off a little this weekend, but it's still going to be warm this weekend and then continues through next week. All right, on to our graphics. So today, 70 when the normal 69. So technically a little warmer than normal today, but quite a bit cooler than we had just a few days ago when we had those Santa Ana winds bringing the heat this past weekend. It's a different setup, bringing the heat a couple of days from now. More so just a very warm air mass that's going to take over the entire area. So again, warming starts tomorrow, but the heat advisories go into effect because of the 90s on Thursday and Friday. And like I said, it's a long duration heat wave headed our direction. So we have this dome of high pressure over the Pacific, very warm air here, unusually warm for this time of year, so that's coming our direction. There's another high that moves in behind that one, which keeps the heat going into next week. Tomorrow we start off the morning with a little bit of cloud cover early, should burn off very quickly in the morning. And it will be warmer tomorrow, not real hot, but warmer, with temperatures for downtown LA probably topping out upper 70s. The farther inland you go, like the valleys in the Inland Empire, it will be even hotter. Into the deserts, you see 80 degrees across the high desert, 90 degrees there in Palm Springs in the low desert. As we take you in closer, there's going to be that difference, though, in temperatures depending on where you are. Whether you're at the coast, it's going to be a little bit cooler. You go inland, it just gets gradually warmer. And again, you see those 80s across the valleys and the Inland Empire. Now, as we switch to Thursday, all the numbers on the way up, and especially in red here. That's where we expect temperatures in the 90s away from the coast. That'll be the case. But even along the coast, it'll be very warm with 80 to 85 perhaps, depending on which exact spot you're in along the coast. Again, it's this high coming in that's going to deliver that heat, especially Thursday, Friday. It departs. We're still warm, but not really hot this weekend. And then another high comes in next week. And I'm going to take this into Tuesday, but if I were to drag this graphic out through the end of next week, you'd probably see this high staying in the exact same spot. That's what the long-term trends are indicating. So that means a long duration heat wave, and the heat wave would officially start Thursday. Yes, this still counts as a heat wave, even though it's not 90s, but all the way into the end of next week. So like a week and a half's worth of a heat wave coming our way. And it could be record highs here on Thursday and Friday. That was for LA and Inland Orange County. For the coast, it'll get very warm, as we talked about, Thursday, Friday in the 80s, maybe close to 80 degrees this weekend. Valleys and Inland Empire, obviously going to be hot there. 80s and 90s will be common. For the mountains, it'll be a big warm up as well. I mean, look at the 7th day for the mountains there. It could be close to 80 degrees in places like Big Bear. The high desert in the 80s through the weekend, but getting even hotter into the 90s next week. And then the hottest temperatures for our whole region will be in the low desert, Coachella Valley, Palm Springs, well into the 90s in the next few days, close to 100 this weekend, and above 100 next week.
A local professor comes up with some surprising conclusions about immigrants and crime. Now she's receiving threats. That story coming up.
Plus, dozens of missing children reunited with their families in Southern California. But how did law enforcement pull it off? We'll hear directly from the sheriff leading the charge next.
Live across SoCal, this is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
New tonight, are immigrants more likely to commit crimes? Decades of research suggests the opposite. Now, one criminology professor is being honored for helping debunk that myth. But the recognition has also sparked backlash, including threats. Fox 11's Laura Diaz, she's live in Santa Monica tonight with that story. Laura?
Yes, Marla, of course, immigration has been a hot button issue for a long time, but especially under the Trump administration, he has been taking on that issue very strongly. But a study out of UC Irvine has some perhaps surprising conclusions, and here's what one of the authors had to say.
Contrary to these popular perceptions and a lot of political rhetoric, immigrants do not bring crime. There's a huge disconnect with some of the policies and practices we're experiencing and seeing today in our society and what we know from the research.
I agree. Foreigners that are legal, that have their papers and don't, they're less likely to commit crimes because they don't come here for that purpose. They come here for a better life.
This is done by a scientist.
What one scientist? How many scientists will tell you something completely different? So it's just you can't lump people in.
And that makes sense because they're coming from a country possibly that they don't want to be in, and now they're here and they want something better. So I would think they would behave better.
As you can see, of course, a cross-section of opinions about that topic. Now, Professor Sheris Kubrin is a professor of criminology, law, and society at UCI. She's receiving the prestigious Stockholm Prize for disproving the myth that immigrants cause more crime in their new country. She's also a published author, writing this book, Immigration and Crime. But while getting accolades, her work is also getting noticed, especially this year, because of the hot-button issue of immigration and what it's become. So much so that she's received threatening calls at her office and work, also emails, and Professor says that we should have discussions about immigration reform, but that it must be based on fact and not rhetoric. And to give you an idea of her background, she has been studying immigration and its connection to crimes for decades now. She's not new to it, but she did get a lot of recognition over this latest study. She said she's currently writing her speech to talk about receiving this prestigious award and what it means to her. But that won't happen until June, and there is a $150,000 prize associated with receiving that special designation for her work. But she is a noted author, and obviously her work is being highlighted right now, Marla. But when you think about everything that's happened in this country for the last couple of years, of course, it is getting highlighted. Some people like it. Some people have very strong reaction the other way.
Yeah, I mean, it really has become a third rail topic, and she's feeling that firsthand. Do we know the scope of the study, what went into the study, what it entails?
I don't have all the details on the amount of time that she spent on it, but she said that her work actually, while some people would consider it groundbreaking, there have been similar studies done before this. I think perhaps the timing of her study, where we see the ICE raids that are being carried out across the country that have been happening since about last June, there's a lot of focus on this issue. And of course, President Trump has spent a lot of time highlighting it and talking about the need for reform. And while she said she understood the need for reform, she wanted the conversation around it and the suggestions about how to achieve it, what it would look like, what it should entail. She thought it was very important that it be based on fact and not myth.
All right, Laura Diaz live for us tonight in Santa Monica. Thanks so much. A recent operation in Southern California helped bring dozens of missing children home during an effort called Operation Safe Return. It's a major effort targeting exploitation and trafficking that included several law enforcement agencies, including the Riverside County Sheriff's Department. Well, I talked with Sheriff Chad Bianco of Riverside County to give us details.
This was months in the planning. So we have a very, very robust human trafficking team, and they spent months identifying potential victims, where we could find them, how we could find them. And then we solicited help from the marshal's office and several allied agencies. So we basically just for enough personnel, because this was massive all over Southern California that eventually led us to other places in Northern California as well.
Wow. Well, it's amazing just to think 37 missing children found. What is this operation, though, Sheriff? Tell us about the scale of the missing children situation and trafficking problem in Southern California right now.
Yeah, it is massive. There are many kids out there that are missing. The majority of them that ever go missing come home relatively quickly, but those that are missing for longer periods of time, that's who we targeted in this. And it just shows that there are so many kids out there that are, a lot of them being abused. And unfortunately, in this operation, we did find several that were victims of sex trafficking. So we were able to rescue them. We were able to get them the help that they need and get them back to their families.
Now that they're back home with their families, what kind of support and protection do these young people get and need to begin rebuilding?
They need a lot of help. They need a lot of help and a lot of support. The psychological help that goes into this is massive. And we do have plenty of resources for them through our county, through our partners from nonprofits and things like that. So they are definitely victims. We treat them as such, and we do everything we can to make sure that they're going to have all the help that they need to get through this, because for the majority of them, it's very traumatic.
Well, the sheriff says the operation focused on high-risk missing children and led to the arrest of 7 suspects. These details about a story we first told you about last week. A 6-year-old deaf student who was deported is sparking outrage, and the California Department of Education now says it happened under false pretenses. Joseph Londono Rodriguez, a student at the California School for the Deaf, was taken without his hearing aids or due process. His mother, an asylum seeker from Colombia, says ICE misled her and denied legal access. Tonight, State Superintendent Tony Thurmond is demanding the family's return, calling the deportation cruel and traumatic. Right now, Joseph is still isolated in Colombia, but members from Congressman Eric Swalwell's staff traveled to Colombia to return the little boy's hearing aids and to advocate on his behalf. Developing tonight, the LAPD is stepping up patrols in downtown Los Angeles after a violent street takeover spilled into a luxury apartment complex over the weekend. The disturbance near Figueroa and LA Live left residents and businesses alarmed. Officials say many of these takeovers are organized on social media, sometimes hitting multiple locations in a single night. Today, Mayor Karen Bass condemned what happened, calling it despicable and warning that LAPD will arrest anyone causing trouble downtown.
And if you start mayhem, you will be arrested. We have zero tolerance for breaking windows and running amok in lobbies, like we saw at the Circa Apartments this weekend.
LAPD Chief Jim McDonald says the department is committed to keeping downtown LA safe with increased patrols on foot, horseback, and undercover. We are learning new details tonight about a debate over helping the homeless in Pasadena. The city council approved a plan for Pasadena's All Saints Church to offer safe parking for people living in their cars. The plan was approved in a 5-2 vote after heated debate. Up to 25 people can park overnight near Euclid Avenue and Walnut Street. Supporters say it gives the unhoused dignity and makes streets safer. Some neighbors, though, worry about safety. New tonight, a jury in downtown LA makes a decision on a lawsuit involving rapper Ye, formerly known as Kanye West. But the verdict won't be revealed until tomorrow. The case involves Tony Saxon, a handyman who says Ye promised to pay him $20,000 a week in 2021 for work on his Malibu mansion. Saxon claims he was underpaid, faced unsafe conditions, and was fired for refusing dangerous tasks. Ye testified last week, often unsure of details, and was previously fined for delaying legal responses. Now, this comes as West is planning a comeback with a new album and a live performance. According to SoFi Stadium's website, he's set to perform in Inglewood April 3rd. This follows his public apology for past controversial behavior. His new album, Bully, is expected to release later this month. The embattled LA school superintendent Alberto Carvalho is speaking out after FBI raids at his home and office. This is the first time we've heard from him. In a statement to the LA Times, his team says he's confident the evidence will show he acted appropriately. His spokesperson and law firm writing tonight, quote, Mr. Carvalho respects the rule of law and the investigative process and has always acted in the best interests of students and within the bounds of the law. The statement went on to say, while the government's investigation remains ongoing, no evidence has been presented by prosecutors supporting any allegation that Mr. Carvalho violated federal law. The investigation centers on a failed multi-million-dollar chatbot project called All Here. Meantime, the school board met today for the first time since Carvalho was placed on paid leave. Acting Superintendent Andres Chait led the meeting, which partly focused on federal ICE raids and their effect on families. New at 9, Anaheim police officers come to the rescue of a family's dog in distress. Look at this. The dog's jaw was stuck in a crate, causing bleeding and panic. Responding quickly, officers used bolt cutters to free the pet safely. The family was relieved and grateful for the officers' help. Police say it's not the kind of call they expect, but they were ready to assist. A happy ending for the dog and its owners in Anaheim. Tremendous work, officers. A world-famous chef, a high-profile pop-up, and major sponsors pulling out. Coming up, Noma's LA debut is already making waves. We have the latest next. And a USC scientist tackling one of medicine's toughest challenges, curing HIV. I sit down with her and her daughter.
Later this week, temperatures will be even hotter than we saw this past weekend. That's why heat advisories are in effect. We expect temps in the 90s. Record heat could be dangerous for some folks. We'll have the details on this heat wave and the extended long-range heat wave that's headed our way. Coming up after the break.
Fine dining restaurant Noma's high-profile LA pop-up is facing backlash before it even opens. 3 major sponsors, American Express, Resy, and Blackbird, have pulled out after abuse allegations resurfaced against chef Rene Redzepi. Former staff accuse him of creating a toxic work environment, with protests planned for opening night in Silver Lake. Now, despite the controversy, the 16-week dinner series costing $1,500 per person is still set to open tomorrow. Redzepi has apologized. Well, Duke's Malibu is set to reopen after months of repairs. The iconic restaurant, located on the Pacific Coast Highway, was heavily damaged by the Palisades fire and storms. Known for its oceanfront views and Hawaiian-inspired menu, Duke's has been a local favorite for decades. The reopening brings relief to both loyal customers and staff. Visitors will be able to enjoy the same great food and atmosphere with added upgrades to withstand future weather challenges. Well, Fox 11 continues to celebrate women's history, and today we're highlighting a local USC scientist who is pursuing one of medicine's most difficult goals, finding a cure for HIV. We first brought you this story yesterday. Well, today I sat down with Dr. Cannon and her daughter. We discussed how it could be possible to cure HIV. Obviously, you've made significant progress in your research, and not just you, but scientists around the world, from the 1980s to where we are now. How much farther do we have to go, though? How close are we to you really being able to say that?
So what's interesting is I told a little white lie there, because I said we can't cure HIV, and actually about 7 or 8 people have been cured of HIV.
Would Magic Johnson be one of them?
No, Magic Johnson's interesting. He's somebody who naturally is able to control his HIV, so he still has HIV in his body, but it's not bothering him.
Wow.
But we take clues from people like Magic Johnson and we say, what's special about him? What's special about his immune system that it can control the virus? And can we recreate that in somebody who's not Magic Johnson? I mean, I'm not saying they're going to end up being great, basketball players as well.
Right.
But we now have the ability to start to change people's immune system and make it more like an immune system that could control HIV.
Okay, so is there a difference then, and I think you were getting to that before I rudely interrupted, jumping to Magic, is he is able to control it, suppress it in his immune system, but then you said that there's another case where you can cure it?
Yeah, there's been a handful of people who've been cured, but it's really been through an extraordinary process. These are people who had cancer and needed a bone marrow transplant, and when you get a bone marrow transplant, your immune system overnight becomes the immune system of your bone marrow donor. And so if we give somebody bone marrow from about 3% of the world's population are naturally resistant to HIV. Then what happens is, all of a sudden, they've got this new immune system that can not just control the virus, but in a handful of cases actually completely clear it. So it's amazing, but it's also frustrating, because you don't want to be giving everybody with HIV a bone marrow transplant. That's crazy risky and complicated. But again, if we can just figure out what elements of a bone marrow transplant are necessary and important, maybe we can recreate those in a much simpler and safer way.
Okay, so technically, our thanks to Dr. Cannon for coming into the studio today. Well, severe storms are threatening the Midwest today. Chief Meteorologist Adam Kruger is here now with a preview of what's on the horizon there and locally.
Yeah, so this is a really big weather scenario today that's playing out, a big severe weather outbreak. We can see at this current time a long stripe of severe storms stretching from Texas to the Midwest. We've seen these lighting up with huge hail and damaging wind. Multiple tornadoes reported out of all this today. There's been confirmed, by the way, 4-inch diameter hail, like grapefruit size, pretty crazy. We see some big storms plowing through Dallas right now, heading through central Texas and then up into the Midwest around the Chicagoland area. There have been tornado warnings, severe storms. All this is slowly progressing eastward. So we're likely going to see some pretty wild images. I think by the time we see sunlight tomorrow across parts of the Midwest of damage and the hail and all the stuff that came with that. But back here locally, our big story is this heat wave wave on the way. Unusually warm area of high pressure for this time of year. It's moving into California. We talked earlier about how we have those heat advisories for Thursday and Friday, not tomorrow, although it does start warming up tomorrow. Notice temperatures going into the upper 70s for LA and around a lot of our area. It'll be obviously warmer than today, but 70s and 80s will be common. So as we take you in a little closer, along the coast, still enjoying, and I say enjoying because it's going to get so hot pretty soon, but enjoying those cooler temperatures, 60s there. You go inland to, let's say, along the 5 corridor, it's more like upper 70s, and then you go even farther inland and you've got 80s across the valleys and the Inland Empire. Then we switch to Thursday. So here's where we really get into our heat wave, and the heat could be dangerous for, elderly, young children, people without air conditioning, or people participating in a lot of exercise or sports or something outside. Be cautious of all that. You want to exercise heat safety because we've got those mid-90s. So that's going to be hotter than we saw this weekend. And there's a look at Friday. You see the hot temperatures continuing as well. Our 7-day for LA and inland Orange County. Few clouds around tomorrow morning. Lots of sun, though, throughout the day. And it does get warmer, but the 90s are coming on Thursday and Friday. We bring it down a little, but it's still very warm this weekend. And more heat lasts at least into Tuesday of next week, but likely even beyond that. We're back right after this break.
Death Valley is bursting with color this spring. The park says it's experiencing its best wildflower bloom in 10 years in a decade. And low elevation blooms are peaking now and should last through March, while higher elevations will bloom into June. Visitors should plan ahead for crowds and follow park rules. Do not pick flowers or drive off-road. Please do not do that. If you do want to go check it out, get your phone out and get ready to take a photo or 100 of them. Death Valley National Park says these are the best spots. You'll find desert gold and brown-eyed primrose at North Badwater Road. This is between California 190 and Badwater Basin. All right, we're going to list all these flowers and where you can see them. On South Badwater Road near Ashford Mill, desert gold, sand verbena, 5-spot, brown-eyed primrose, all blooming. On Highway 190 between Stovepipe Wells and Furnace Creek, you'll find gravel ghost, Phacelia, Desert Gold, Mojave Desert Star. And last but certainly not least, on Beatty Cutoff there are Phacelia, Desert Gold, Gravel Ghost Flowers. You can find all this information on Death Valley's website. And we'll leave you with that. Thank you so much for watching LA Live News Tonight, our 10 p.m. newscast with Christina Vine. Good night, LA. Just minutes away on Fox 11. She will see you there. We'll leave you with this beautiful shot. Thanks for being with me tonight. We'll see you back here tomorrow night.